Thanks. What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. This podcast can be heard at allthingscomedy.com, and if you go to allthingscomedy.com, there are tons of podcasts there with some of the top comics in the country. Bill Burr has his, I think it's the Monday podcast there, and he also has a podcast there with Bert Kreischer, Bobby Lee's podcast there, Tiger Belly, Eric Griffin, Dean Del Rey, and the list goes on. Kate Quigley, Dave Fales, blah, 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 podcast, blah, blah. You can also watch my podcast on YouTube. Just type in Ian Edwards or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards. And like and subscribe, man. Tell your people. If you love this podcast, we work hard. We watch the games. We discuss the issues, and we try to have some fun every week. So like and subscribe. And the podcast sponsor is onthevolleyapparel.com. And go to onthevolleyapparel.com, and you'll see a host of tanks, hoodies, sweatshirt, t-shirts with hip-hop soccer emblems comboed on the front. They're kind of the fly. Go to the website and use my promo code ComicRant. Get 20% off at onthevolleyapparel.com. This week guest, Neil Chakravarty. We got started a little late. So Neil, Chelsea fan, comic from San Diego. What up, homie?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
It's a great day.
It's a great day. I'll tell you why later.
A medical day? Oh, okay, all right. All right, so we'll just
going back to Chelsea. What's going on?
We'll discuss that.
I caught some of the brilliant praise from the last episode.
Yeah,
I was like, I wish I could talk to my TV.
There's nothing you can say. He proved it on the field. There's nothing.
We'll come to that.
Yeah. The only debate is if it was 2 assists or 3 assists. That's the only debate. The other guest is Martin Harris, and Martin's an actor. He's been in a bunch of movies. The latest one, The Hunt, and there's others too after that. He's the voice of a bunch of video game characters. And so, which one of the video games again, Martin? I don't know why I keep forgetting this.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Warzone. As a matter of fact, I had a couple of people hitting me up today, telling that it's their favorite guy in the game. So that was kind of nice. It's always nice to hear that.
That's their favorite guy to kill? Oh, that's dope. Yeah. All right, cool. I know. So Martin's on movies, and he's a sports journalist. He writes for 442 magazine. He's also a Spurs fan, but it's 5 o'clock right now, and we got started late, and Martin has to go at 5:30. So we're going to delay talking about the Spurs victory until 5:40 when Martin's gone, and we don't have to see a smirk on his stupid face because his team won this weekend. So we'll do that.
Yeah, but you know what? The team won, and I was super happy.
That's not. Yeah. Let's go Liverpool first. Liverpool, Chelsea first. That's the main game.
I would love to.
But you will be second. You will be second. I got to torture you a little bit.
Yeah. No, let's torture Neil first.
Hey.
So a William-less Chelsea faces Thiago Alcantara, Liverpool, 11-man versus 10-man squad. So what's your take on the Chelsea-Liverpool game?
I mean, it was a little surprising in the way we set up, which was so defensive, so conservative.
Who?
It looked Chelsea.
Right.
It seemed pretty clear that we were, both the lineup and the formation, that we were kind of, playing for a point. We had absolutely no creativity in midfield. And we've seen this. Lampard has tried this a few times last season. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't particularly enjoy such a formation, but it has some track record of, it working against certain superior teams. Which,
that's like when we play 5 at the back. Nobody likes it, but if we win.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it like, the first, pretty much when did the red card happen? Pretty much on the stroke of half time. that first 45 minutes, we didn't create anything, but we didn't really like look shaky either. Like even neither did Liverpool. So I felt like it was a pretty even game till then. And it seemed to me this was like one of those games where, we're gonna try and sit back, absorb. And as it goes to closer to the 60, 70 minutes, you then, put on your real your players who can actually, switch the system up to have more attacking inputs. But obviously, when you're playing 10 men, you don't really have the luxury of doing that. So I guess we'll never know. But we're absolutely outplayed though over the course of 90 minutes. We played Liverpool. I always made the point to look at how we played these superior teams last season, and I think we played Liverpool 4 times and Man City 2 times, and I felt we looked pretty comfortable. Sometimes the results didn't go in our favor, sometimes it did, but on no game did I feel like we were outplayed. This game we were outplayed. So,
but you outplayed. You were outplayed when you had the one-man disadvantage, not before.
Yeah, sure, but shouldn't really be missing a penalty.
I had a smart ass comment. Well, let's talk about the penalty, because we've had the debates about Willian, and you said, well, penalties are given, you should score those, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you were given
Which is why we are now talking about it, because somebody missed a penalty. We didn't talk about it much last week when, Jorginho got one in. So, as I was saying, you texted me after the game, like, if Willian was there, you guys would have, got that goal in. But you wouldn't even have taken the penalty, because when Jorginho and Willian are both on the pitch, Jorginho is our penalty taker.
And I text you back that when Willian is at Chelsea, Jorginho is not on the pitch. So Willian
No. They play completely different roles. Jorginho is playing a deep midfielder.
I know, but towards the end of the season, Jorginho didn't play at all. And
but Jorginho didn't play at all because of other reasons, not because of Willian was taking his spot. So I mean, you look at Jorginho. I mean, these are things that can be proven, right? Jorginho has had 22. This was the 23rd penalty kick he took in his career. This is the second time he missed. Willian's record is 9 penalty kicks taken, 1 missed. So, we're talking about somebody who's really prolific, more prolific than Willian at taking penalties, and he missed.
Well, he's taken more penalties, but that means
the ratio.
If we go by your ratio, that means Willian is going to score 10 more penalties before he misses the one that Jorginho missed today. So you gave away 10 short penalties when you sold him to Arsenal.
No,
they average out to the same.
No, because the Jorginho was 1 out of 22 before this game. So,
well,
when I see somebody like, I've seen this happened once way back 3-4 years back in that horrible season, the Mourinho, where Eden Hazard, out of all people, missed a penalty, and I'm like, this is just, you just have to take it. I mean, this can happen.
Yeah, and you have to take this loss, and you have to take this shit talking that we're going to give you, because there's nothing you could do about it. Your team lost to Liverpool. You blew a penalty 2 weeks after talking about how unimportant penalty scoring is.
No. Actually, I feel
this is almost like some type of God just slapping your words back in your face.
No, I actually, even that time, you remember, even that day, I was telling you guys that the reason why I don't give much importance to penalties is the only time people talk about them is when somebody misses it. And that's exactly what's happening now.
Nah, they talk about
Bruno.
They talk about Bruno Fernandes penalty.
They talk about how Bruno Fernandes dives to get penalties.
And the style of it. You can say whatever you want, bro.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I actually give a lot of credit to the person who actually wins the penalty. That's pretty admirable to me. And when we started all the entire penalty conversation, for me, it's like, when you're comparing goals that people have scored, and then you bring in penalty goals into the bit, it's just not an apples to apples comparison anymore. Because suddenly you'll see this season, this will definitely happen. You will see a drop in Willian's goals stats this season. And when somebody looks back at it 3 or 4 years down the line, and they're like, But suddenly he was scoring these many goals this season at Chelsea, his last season at Chelsea. But now suddenly he's not scoring as many goals. What happened? You know what happened? He stopped taking penalties at Arsenal.
But that's not the point. Like I never liked Willian because he was a prolific scorer. I liked Willian because he was a great, really good football player. And you guys don't like him, or you don't like him because of the amount of goals that he doesn't score. But you still don't like him for the penalties that he does score. So he's in a tough position for you and other Chelsea fans who just don't like him, because you'll find you can criticize him for not scoring enough, but you don't give him credit for scoring penalties. But Martin wants to say something, I'm sure.
I want to say something. You know?
Yeah.
So Jorginho missed the penalty, and I think you Neil are missing the point here. So just like we missed 3 points as a team. You said that I agree with you.
Martin's completely been taken over by the Jose Mourinho quotable quotes brand.
Here is the thing. 2 games this season, you said you were outplayed by Liverpool, and I agree. I'll tell you something else. You got outplayed by Brighton as well in the first game.
True.
Yes, you did. You did.
True.
So far it doesn't look that great. I know you have a lot of new pieces, but I have a feeling you bought a lot of kind of similar players in a way. You know, like you didn't really replace a guy like Willian with another Willian, better Willian, maybe in your opinion. You don't have a player like that anymore. And
I mean,
actually had a big influence over Arsenal in 2 games where they outplayed their competition, you know, in 2 games. So you got outplayed in 2 games, and they outplayed their opposition in 2 games. I think in buying, sometimes you can buy a lot, but you have to buy specifically to your needs. And I don't see that you replaced Willian with a guy with the same set of skills where you can pretty much put him in Willian role and ask him to do better, or the same or better in Willian's
I think that guy is Hakim Ziyech, and who to my mind is one of the best right wingers, left-footed right wingers. This is something
he's
that
he's
lacked. No, he's a right winger. Right winger.
Ziyech?
Yeah, the guy from Ajax.
Okay, from Ajax, my bad.
This is something that...
I'm sorry, I keep thinking of Hakimi from Dortmund
Ashraf
for some
Hakimi.
reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
He's a
So
this guy is, I mean, this actually is a whole, when you talk about, you know, not buying for your needs, I feel actually apart from maybe the Havertz signing, which is more of a overkill signing.
Yeah,
I think every other signing was absolutely needed for the specific needs this team had. Now, that left-footed right-winger thing, if you look at all the great teams that the Premier League has right now, City has Mahrez, Liverpool has Salah. You guys, Spurs right now have Gareth Bale. Who else? Arsenal have Pepe. Willian is taking minutes of Pepe. This will come to haunt them at some point during the season. But I'm telling you, at some point in the season, they will be lacking that offensive threat, and they will be regretting making that switch. I think United and Chelsea were the only 2 teams so far that didn't have that, because you just open up so many more angles when you have that left foot on that right wing. And we used to have that with Arjen Robben. It's been 10 years we haven't replaced that person on the right wing. And I feel with Hakim Ziyech we finally have. So whether he can put in that same amount of defensive output that Willian did, and you know, it's not that I haven't given credit. Haven't I mentioned multiple times that Willian, to my mind, is the best defensive winger in the world?
No, you never said that.
I said that. No, I can.
You must have mumbled it after we hung up.
No. I can pull it up.
Did you say it in your room by yourself?
This is on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I can.
Did you say it begrudgingly? Like, did you say it no. Did you articulate it?
But I said it. That's why he's so important. And Ziyech is a more of a flash player, and you have those players already.
But if you actually see Ziyech, he does a lot of counter pressing and pressing too. So whether he does that whether he's able to do it to the sheer physicality and pace of the Premier League, of course, that risk exists with any new signing, anybody coming in from a foreign league. But I have no doubts in my mind that he will absolutely give us, as a package, a lot more from the right wing spot than what Willian gave us, even at his best during his time at Chelsea.
Well, the last time I've seen him, and his defensive work, Lucas Moura ran 3 times past him and scored 3 goals in the Champions League semi-final. So
well, I think that was a lot of naivety in the way Ajax was set up. They're still trying to go for a winner in the when you have a lead going into the Champions League final. That I think that was just naivety from that Ajax team. All of that will be cut out in the Premier League. I don't think anybody in the you'll know that. I mean, you saw what Werner had to say for the first game, that I've never played against such massive defenders.
Well,
but the question is, Neil,
can I say one thing? Like, I just want to go back to something Neil said, that they did address all their issues. He just thinks that Kai Havertz was overkill. But that's 90 million pounds of overkill, or euros, that you could have used to get a legit good goalkeeper, which is what you need the most. And then just even going back to the game on this weekend, like that goal that Mane scored, well, he scored 2 goals. Like, I don't necessarily blame Kepa for that.
Yeah. Which one?
The second goal. Because, like, when you look at the beginning of the game, like, I think Kepa was told, you're going to be an outlet for the defenders, but when you get the ball, spray it to your players. And in the beginning of the game, in the first half, if you look at the passing pattern of Kepa, he was hitting
He's doing better.
Chelsea players. Like, I said, oh, shit. So then when they passed him that ball, the one that Mane scored, he was intending to do the same thing, not just clear it up out the way, but he was continuing to do what he had been instructed to do and what he was doing the entire game. Like, they just passed him the ball. I'm going to find a Chelsea player. And in trying to find a Chelsea player, which was a directive of Lampard and them, Mane got in the way of it because the only Chelsea player available was like...
No, there were 5 different Chelsea players available.
None of them were really available.
He went for the most high-risk
they were
option.
I think they were all high risk. The only option he had really was to clear it out. Like, all those guys...
There were players on the left-hand side that were available. There was nobody.
Did he have the time? But that's the thing. It's the amount of time that he had. Like,
Mane was not at all... is not even near him when he
receives
the ball.
I think you should watch it again.
When he receives the ball...
It's one touch.
And that's the thing. No. He actually wastes. He spends time on that touch. He tries to look around. You should. I mean,
how is he supposed to find those other options? I'm just saying, you're
a professional keeper at this level. You come branded as this ball-playing goalkeeper. If that's the one little good thing that you're remotely half decent at,
but just like any player, like, you're good at passing if there's time. And it's like, and then other players can, like...
No, but then even I and you can go do it.
So what?
Then even I and you can go do it.
Mane's world class, bro. Like, I blame the defender.
It's an unforced error. Unforced error.
I think it was forced by his defender. I blame the defender as much as him. I'm not letting him off the hook.
This is one of the things where you had so much time, you had so many different options. This wasn't like where there was just one player. I actually looked at it a bunch of times, even though
me too.
I kind of want to I just want this over. Like, I just don't want to have to ever talk about this guy ever again.
You'll take a huge loss on him though.
I don't care. Sometimes the club needs to learn a lesson. Everything that happened around the Kepa signing, from the Courtois told us in March, the club, that he's leaving, and the club agreed. Marina Granskaya agreed, and we give her a lot of credit in getting us a lot of money. So when she absolutely fumbles the ball, we need to criticize too. Courtois had a meeting in March and made it very clear his intentions of leaving after the season after the World Cup, essentially, to Real Madrid. And Marina said, fine, we'll get a fee for you and we'll start looking for a replacement. For some reason, the club changed their mind and thought they can still convince Courtois to sign a new deal. And they kept playing that, poker game with Courtois, and they thought they can call Courtois' bluff. And Courtois was in the last year of contract. He said nothing doing. He just didn't show up to training. Players have that power when they're going into their last year of contract, and a smart professional CEO at this level should be aware of that. And then when he actually didn't show up to training, it was 1 week from the first game. So we kind of panicked. We went to Jan Oblak, and Oblak was like, "Who are you guys? You guys in the Europa League. I'm playing for Atletico Madrid in the Champions League right now. Get the hell out of here." Then you tried to get Alisson. There was suggestions that at one point Liverpool and Chelsea were pretty much on an even keel with Alisson. But because the fee was so high, Chelsea tried to like dilly-dally and do this penny pinching stuff. Liverpool were decisive. They got the guy. And we ended up at the last moment panicking and having no one to be a goalkeeper with 3 days to start left for the season. And we went by Maurizio Sarri's recommendation. And what has come out is that he went by his former goalkeeper at Napoli, Pepe Reina, his suggestion to go for this guy who he had trained with in the Spain setup. And we went for this guy. This guy had a release clause for 70, a bigger release clause than if he had just paid the money for Alisson. So it was a clusterfuck of epic proportions, and it's just such a bad deal that I understand, Martin, what you're saying. We're going to take a big loss, but we need to sometimes learn a lesson.
Yeah, football, you take losses sometimes. Period.
Yeah, and
I remember, Man U had that problem in the past when you, I think, didn't know how to replace Schmeichel. You had like Taibbi, and you had this guy Carroll, right? Roy Carroll.
Didn't Barthez come in?
They were flop after flop, but then
Barthez came.
Yeah, but then you found Van der Sar, and Van der Sar was the guy. So
we found Van der Sar like around when he was 30 or something like that, not even young.
Yeah. And he was playing for Fulham, so and he was a Champions League winner with Ajax, and he played for Fulham. So he was around. Maybe there is a goalkeeper in England that you might think of as a good option. Like
I was talking to my homeboy. I was talking to my homeboy yesterday, right? And I was talking to him a few days ago, and he's Lloyd. Like Martin hears me talk about Lloyd all the time. So Lloyd's like, "We got Martinez," and it hit me. I'm like, why didn't Chelsea go for Martinez? He's so cheap. He's proven. He's beat you guys. And he's played. And then Martinez saves a penalty this weekend, and you guys have a goalkeeper passing to Liverpool's leading scorer from last year, and it's like, why didn't you guys go for Martinez?
I think there were a couple of reasons for that. One was that
Pepe Reina didn't recommend him.
No, I think this time the scouting is happening through Petacek. Obviously, is now part of our board. He is the performance director, and he has some connections with Rant, the club Edouard Mendy is coming from. So he seems to be pretty confident of this guy. But also, I think what I've heard is that Martinez had a specific "fuck you" price if it had to be for one of the rivals of Arsenal.
Not sure about that, because you just sold.
You just pay it anyway. So you want a good goalkeeper, you pay it anyway.
Yes. And here's the thing, what I think you might be doing the same mistake over and over again when the guy from France comes. Premier League is a very specific league for goalkeepers. It's almost like a different skill set you need to have to play in the Premier League, because it's just a different football. It's more physical. They're being more attacked in the air, so they have to be constantly on the move. It's just a different football. They don't play that much positional football. It's the pace is faster than everywhere else.
But look at all the great goalkeepers in Premier League. They've all come from outside.
What I'm trying to say is it's not a new thing that a goalkeeper comes from let's say Spain or a different country who was prolific in a different league, but in England struggles. There are other issues, like especially for a Spanish guy. England is a different lifestyle than Spain. He's still, Kepa, I'll remind you, second goalkeeper for the national team, so he's not all terrible.
The problem with Kepa is when you go back and look at his stats, even at Spain, he was not even in the top 10 of goalkeepers in that league.
Okay.
So it's
how did that team have that buyout clause for this guy?
Because I think they have that Basque policy, which just leads them to, put these buyout clauses. I mean, some of these clubs have really weird buyout clauses for a lot of players. There's this player who has it's so random, that player, that I can't even recall his name right now. He has like a 600 million buyout clause. Right. So there's a lot of weird stuff.
That's Messi. You don't remember Messi's name?
No, Messi I remember, but this is somebody else. So,
So, well, I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
From the pain of talking about Chelsea's loss, but Martin's got to go soon.
Yeah, but I want to ask you. I want to ask the last thing about Chelsea. I want to ask you.
All right, because you only have a limited amount of time to talk about your Spurs.
Yeah, I'll stretch it for like 2 more minutes. But let me tell you, only 5:45, 20 minutes. But I want to ask you, Neil, because you seem confident in your team, but you just lost a very important game. What is the goal for Chelsea this season? Isn't it winning the title? Because if it's winning the title, that's
nobody says that's the goal, Martin.
Well, if anybody says that is the goal, then they should also agree that we have a better squad than both City and Liverpool. I don't see people doing that.
No, you're not. You're not having a better squad. As a matter of fact, I think Leicester did a little bit of a trick on you guys, because they sold Chilwell to you for big money, and they replaced him with a better player in the plan, in my opinion, who is already really very impressive, and I think much better offensively than Chilwell. And they
so how can winning the league be the goal? I think my goal is to be top 4 should be locked in. It shouldn't be go down to the last game of the season like last time. Mm-hmm. And realistically, what I'm expecting is for us to cross the 80 points barrier this season.
Okay.
I think if we do that, we will be in the top 4. I think it'll be really strange if we cross 80 points and we are not in the top 4. So I'm just hoping for us to, because it's been a while, I don't think you're going to make up that entire gap in one season. We want to go half the way, and then next season, actually, yes, should be challenging for the title.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing too. I expect you guys not to win the league, be in the top 4, and win one cup.
Yeah, I mean, if a cup happens, it happens. It's a bonus. I'm not that
I think it should
worried about it. Yeah,
I think if Arteta could do that with that a little bit amount of time, with all the money that's spent on Frank, I say everything you say plus a cup. Like just getting and I know it's going to take time for Chelsea's players to even, all of them that you bought aren't even on the field yet. There's injuries, so they got to combine and work as a team. So I wouldn't panic on Frank. I know Martin's just throwing a panic on Frank and you because you're here and he's Martin. He did the same thing this weekend when we lost. He's like, "What are you guys gonna do?" I'm like, "Martin, why do you care so much? You don't care. Stop pretending. You want me to panic the way you're panicking. It's fake panic. Like, it's one game, bro. Like, Chelsea lost the first game of the season last year and finished top 4.
I will say this.
They lost to us.
I will say this, though, before we move on from just one more thing I need to add. I want to add these 2 games. So offensively, we've not looked fluid at all, right? But, in some sort of a way,
because you got rid of Willian.
Oh, God. But in some sort of way, I know what we can achieve offensively. Those players are still there. And we know the quality that the new players bring. So I'm not that worried. I think that is just a matter of time before the pieces fall in. Where I've actually been really impressed is that defensively we have looked a lot more solid these 2 games. We don't. I'm not seeing the same panic. No, if you see last season, no, if you see the last 2 seasons, the panic that we see each time a set piece comes in, I'm not seeing that. We look much more assured. We don't look all over the place on set pieces. I know it's a very small sample size right now.
Very small.
And also, I mean, you look at the kind of goals we conceded. We conceded 3 goals. 2 of them are rank errors by the goalkeeper. Like he's beating the entire league. The entire league put together.
1.5. The Brighton goal, yeah, he could have done better, but
it's a long shot from outside the 18-yard box that goes under his arm. It goes under his arm. It's not even his outstretched hands. I understand he has tiny hands.
He didn't see it until the very last moment. Like,
why didn't he see? That's my point. Like, everything about him is just crap.
Well, you act as if those goals don't go in this league. Come on.
No. They go in. They go in. But you compare the regularity with which it goes in. It's almost one shot in two.
But that's what we're saying. Like, you know, we said it. You guys should have spent the Kai Havertz money on a goalkeeper. You explained that Chelsea needs to learn. So we're just back in the way we were before. Now let's talk about.
We don't even need to spend the Kai Havertz money because that's 90 million. We don't need a world-class goalkeeper. We just need a goalkeeper who's not the worst in Europe. We need right now a bang average Premier League goalkeeper. And
well, that's why you should have bought Martinez. That's why you should have bought Martinez.
But you should have bought someone from Premier League, in my opinion, like because
Martinez.
Martinez, but maybe someone like Pope. If you throw money at Burnley, I'm sure they would let Pope go.
But they were asking like 50, 60 million. I think what happened was that, I think that's what Burnley wanted for Nick Pope.
Exactly. So it's less than for Kepa what you pay.
Yeah, but see, we're trying to go away from a bad decision, money-wise.
He's a good goalkeeper.
I think you just spent 30 on a guy that's never played in.
I think it's
England.
22 plus 6. But see, if you're talking as if great goalkeepers, I can't actually remember a great goalkeeper in England who didn't come into the league from outside. All the greats. Schmeichel came from outside. Petr Cech came from outside. De Gea came from outside.
There were a lot of good English goalkeepers.
Who was the best goalkeeper of last season?
Who
were two best goalkeepers of last season with stats, with everything?
No, I know. But Nick Pope and Alisson.
Henderson and Pope were two.
Henderson and Pope, yeah. But Henderson was not available. Henderson was not available, and Nick Pope was a little too expensive.
Yeah, but he's just answering your question about like all the great goalkeepers from the Premiership. You said you couldn't remember; they come from outside. And
but these guys are not great. Like
they're not great, but they were two of the best from last year.
Yeah, but I'm just countering his point that that we absolutely need to have a Premier League proven goalkeeper.
Martinez, and you blew it. All right, so let's go to Spurs.
Martinez has such a small sample size that, I
still better than Mendy.
Well, Mendy's played in top 5 leagues for the past 3 seasons. Okay. Martinez is 28 and has played only 600 minutes.
He's playing in France,
all
right?
career. Yeah, he's playing in France, but that's still somebody who's playing week in, week out.
What about Areola? He came to Fulham, right? From PSG.
Yeah.
Very good goal.
Again, somebody who's never played.
Hey guys,
he's always been the substitute keeper.
We got to switch, or else Martin will never get to Spurs. All right, because you guys have proven that you could stay on Chelsea. Martin bashing Chelsea and making you defend Chelsea for 30 minutes. So let's get to Spurs' lucky win over Southampton. Martin, take it away. Talk about
I agree.
Your
what
team.
You just said. I agree with what you just said because, first when I saw the result, when I woke up in the morning, because the game was 4:30 Pacific time, so I didn't watch it live.
I watched it. What's the problem with that? Wow.
But,
you see who's a real fan of football here. Go ahead.
I think Martin was like, I don't want to wake up this early for a Jose Mourinho game.
Yeah. So here's the thing. He won trophies for you guys. Frank Lampard needs to win trophies for us. But I'll tell you this. When I saw the result, I was very happy. But then I saw the game. I wasn't that happy when I saw.
Why?
It. Because we didn't play very well in this game. It was we just in the first half we were terrible. First half we were absolutely terrible. First 2 shots at goal. And
terrible?
First half we were very bad.
You scored 3 goals in the first half. 2 of them were disallowed.
One goal. Oh yeah.
So that's not terrible. That means you're attacking, but somebody's a little bit offside, and we need to refigure it out. But we'll get it. Go ahead.
By the way, here's a little dig, one last dig at Chelsea that I'm gonna say.
Oh boy.
And sometimes you have to strategize within the game. You have to make a strategic decision. Okay. So, for example, there was a situation in the first half that we could have gone 10 against 11. We could have gone, and it's another big, more at Sheffield United than Chelsea. That sometimes, for you, more important is not to go down to 10 men than to concede a goal, because 11 against 11, you still have a chance to score and tie the game or even win it. But when you go 10 against 11, you put yourself in a very, very difficult position.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, and there was a situation, especially with Sheffield United, against Aston Villa, because they completely changed the game. But there was a situation at the beginning of Spurs game where we could have gone 10 against 11 when there could have been a possibility of a red card for Lloris. But he didn't foul, and he didn't play with his hand. And Ink scored a goal that was disallowed. But if he did that, he would have prevented the goal. And not knowing, of course, that it will be disallowed.
There was no possibility in that play of you always going down 10 men, because Lloris clearly headed the ball with his head.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying if, let's say, he goes past him and he tries to do something, we go 10 against 11, there's no goal, but we play 10 against 11, and that would be crucial, So, So it was good that nothing happened out of the situation. Although Southampton for the first 40 minutes were dominant, they played a perfect game. But then we just picked them apart. They played high line of defense, and that was almost tailor-made for Son and Kane. Almost tailor-made. So we just executed them.
Let me ask you a question. So Mourinho loves Kane because Kane is like the typical type of striker that he likes, right?
Yeah.
But what if they're making a mistake by everybody, including the England squad, making Kane the head of the boy band when there's a drummer who can sing better than him? When I say that, like, based on the IQ, like, Kane can sing and he can write lyrics, but some of those lyrics he needs to give to Son, as Son proved this Sunday. Like, what if they did more of what they did this Sunday every other Sunday, and Kane doesn't end up being the leading scorer for Spurs, but you guys win more games? Like, if that was the best combination or the best way to do things, I don't think Mourinho would commit to that because he's so in love with Kane. But it might be. What do you think about that?
Well, I think you have to adjust every opponent differently. As I said, Southampton played to our hands with high line of defense. There was too much space between Brungardt and the other guy. They're both center backs, and we just picked them apart with those passes, and it was perfect for Southampton. It might not work for another team. Like, I think Newcastle will be way more defensive minded in the next game, where Southampton, they play attacking football, and they played into our hands because Mourinho, which I don't like, likes to give up possession of the ball and just counterattack, which was his style 20 years ago. I don't think it's the way you should play right now in 2020. But it worked in this specific game. It might not work against Newcastle. Against Newcastle, you probably have to dominate the game. And I don't think if you play Højbjerg and Winks again, that will cut it. So hopefully they'll change that strategy. Having Bale now, they'll have to accommodate an extra offensive player. Hopefully that means that they will play Lo Celso with Højbjerg instead of Winks, and push Bale either behind Kane and have Mora and Son as two wingers, or you just put Bale where Mora is, because Mora didn't score a single league goal in 2020. I mean,
so Bale on the right wing.
Well, you can play Son on the right, but I mean,
no, play Son on the left. Son, Kane, Bale. That's probably the best. If Bale is on form, that's probably the best front three in the league.
Is Son good on the left? Can he play on the left? Because he's been playing. Can he play on the right? Because he's been playing on the left.
They should play. They should, do what sometimes good teams do.
Interchange.
You have interchange.
Yeah, you can interchange during the game, but I feel like Son gives a lot from that left hand side with his speed. It kind of sometimes reminds me of watching a young Gareth Bale all those years back for Tottenham. the way he has that acceleration with the ball,
And
it would be great to watch.
Yeah, and listen, and with Reguilon, we'll have another offensive-minded, very, very solid player on the left side that we missed with Ben Davies, who I like Ben Davies a lot. He's a very ambitious guy. He's a very solid human being, and he's a team player, but he has his...
Say the but, because whenever you pick up somebody like that, you're about to pop them down at the knees.
He's solid.
Great guy, solid, human, but I want him out the team.
But I never want to see him.
I never want to see him again.
I want Aurier out of the team. I don't want Ben Davies out of the team. I want Aurier out of the team, for sure. I don't want Ben Davies out of the team because he's useful. He's a good squad player. You know, that's what he should be. Same with Dyer. He should be a squad player, not the first starting lineup player.
I got another question to ask.
Yeah.
And I don't know, based on the documentary series or just based on press conferences before we even saw the documentary series, what's going on. But Dembele in the first half was one of the best Spurs players. Then,
sure.
Yeah. I was watching him. And then he created the assist to the assist. The moment where Spurs...
Brilliant move. But I don't think much before.
Then he got yanked. But why did he get yanked? It was never explained.
Well, I think...
You think Mourinho was upset with him? Or
no,
was it tactical?
I think it was a tactical thing because Lo Celso is better in getting the ball from the opposition player and playing this quick pass to start a counterattack.
Which Dembele just did right before the end of the half.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing it enough. I think he wasn't really getting those.
But the whole team wasn't doing it. Well,
Lo Celso can do both. He can get the ball and play the pass. Dembele can play the pass. So I think Lo Celso gives you a little bit more of the options. Although I agree with you, they should play Lo Celso together with Hjoberg or wings, but not three of them at the same time. Because then it can work when you counterattack, but when you have to give the game to your opposition, like they will have to do with Newcastle game, it might be a problem. So hopefully he'll learn his lesson. Hopefully Bale will play.
That's funny. Mourinho doesn't like to break teams down. He likes to give them the ball so that they help him break them down when they're attacking. They help him break them down while they're attacking his team. It's so hilarious.
There was one Polish coach. His name was Lesław Smilkiewicz in Poland. That he had this philosophy that everybody was laughing, kind of. That was what he said to his players. He said before the game, listen, if you don't know what to do with the ball, give it to your opponent and let him worry about it.
that sounds a lot like
that's an anti-Bielsa.
This decade.
Hilarious. How successful of a coach was this guy?
Not very successful.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
You need really good players for that to be able to execute that.
Yeah, you still need good players. Trying to think of, are you done? Anything you want to say, Neil, about Spurs' lucky win?
I mean, I know it was lucky, but this is what you can achieve when you have these finishing, people with such great finishing, because both Son and Kane possess that, and now you're just adding another guy who, if he can stay fit, and I think he has a point to prove, right? Like surely this guy was kind of ostracized and kind of became a caricature, but at the end of his time at Madrid, he has a lot of things to prove. This is not how he would want his. Sure, he can go ahead and get his retirement ticket in the MLS in a few years, but this is not how we would want to be remembered at top level football.
Why didn't Bale play this weekend? Where was he at?
He's injured for the next 4 weeks.
And then I heard he was playing. Then I heard he was playing golf with the head of the club too. So like, you can't do stuff that pissed off the Real Madrid fans and then bring it back here.
Well, like, the Spurs fans aren't going to be as.
I know.
As much as
I know, but not right now. But Spurs fans are not the most reasonable people. Martin. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not a good look if later on he doesn't get back on track fast enough and he doesn't deliver enough, because they're just going to be like focused on, look how much we're paying him. So Bale, you can't. I mean, you can't stop yourself from being injured, but you can chill out on the golf while you're injured.
I think it's a good transfer. I think it's going to work out because people don't like Bale. A lot of people have an issue with Bale, but he produced every club he performed for, and he is a proven commodity. You know what you get with him: pace. You get ability to shoot from outside. You get a lot of things from Bale and physicality too. I mean, he's physically stronger than Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura has been struggling lately. I like him as a player, but not really productive for a while now. So, it would be good to have Lucas Moura as a sub.
Who is Lucas Moura if your other option is Gareth Bale?
I don't play Lucas Moura. No, he didn't.
Nobody's gonna even Mourinho's not even gonna look at him. He's probably going to stop acknowledging him in the dressing room once Gareth Bale is here.
He'll be our new Lamela. He'll be the Lamela guy. Yeah. Coming on subs.
Yeah. What I want to see is let's have a petition to have Amazon get back in that dressing room right now. I want to see this sequel.
Yeah, I want to see the sequel to that too. Me too.
But here's, there was already a documentary about City and Tottenham. I want to see one about the Chelsea.
It's coming home.
It's
hilarious. What's coming home? The Benitez?
Kepa.
William's coming home.
The big years.
I mean, as far as Bale is concerned, I like Gareth Bale. Always liked him as a footballing person. I hope he does good at Spurs. He's at the only place that wants him. I saw the footage. I mean, like that wants him enough to pay for him. That's really wanting him. You know what I mean? Or cutting the deal and doing it the way Real Madrid doing the loan, who actually put a deal across the line. So he's where he's really wanted. So I hope he repays the favor because I like him. And then so I don't want him to be just. I think it's unfair the way the Madrid fans treated him. So we'll see.
But are you disappointed? Because both him and Reguilon were linked with Man U at some point. Are you disappointed?
No. Is that good enough of an answer?
What about Reguilon? No?
Nah. I've never seen him play. What am I going to miss out on some guy I've never seen play? I don't know any stats. I'm just hearing shit about him. And that's the problem with – so this is something – I guess we can go on to the Man U game, and if we mix any conversation from the past two games in, we will. But the problem – the table is funny. This is why the table is funny. If you're a team at the bottom of the table, you're and you finished and almost got relegated the year before, you're like, we got to buy, right? And there's this hysteria and there's this panic. And if you're a team at the top of the table and you see what the other teams have done, you have the same panic, but for a different reason. We got to buy. And the panic is the same feeling as the team below the table, even though you're going to finish up top, because your panic is to finish higher. So not finishing higher than you did the season before is almost like a relegation to the teams that will never get relegated. And that's the same feeling as people lower in the tables. I feel like as far as us is concerned, maybe the Sancho deal will go through. If it doesn't go through, I won't be mad at it. I think it costs too much. And I feel
What's your backup option, though? I get the feeling like United has put all their eggs in the
Dembele's on it. Dembele's. There's players out there. We're not thinking smart enough. Dembele's on the table, who's also kind of injury prone. But to me, listen, I don't even think we need really like we have Greenwood, we have Martial, we have Rashford. We need to get
but that's it.
Somebody else.
If one of these guys, and you need somebody else in through the season.
We do, but that's why I'm talking about Dembele. If Dembele is injured sometimes, but he's not injured when one of those guys are injured, we're good. We don't even need somebody who's going to be 100% all the time. We just need somebody who's a really good player whose injury schedule fits into our playing schedule. So I like a Dembele. Let's see what we can get him for. We have to figure this out and find someone. But
okay, let me make my point before I go, because I have to go in a second. So it was for me by far the biggest disappointment of the weekend. for sure. I mean, that was a really
Why?
bad performance.
Why?
Very bad performance. Very bad performance.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And well deserved for Crystal Palace. You know,
Yeah.
who really were dominant the game and showed your weaknesses as well. Because De Gea wasn't the problem in this game at all. He was actually solid. He was actually playing well. Although the other goalkeeper, Henderson, had a very good cup game today where he had made a fantastic save, and he might be a better option moving forward. But still, De Gea wasn't the problem. Lindelof is a big problem. Lindelof is pretty much an accident waiting to happen. He was already like that last year, and he's like that this year. If you pair him up with drunk Maguire, then you have
I do like that. I do like that.
You have two center backs that not really fit together. You should get a center back right now. I mean, that's my opinion. You know, you really struggle with center backs at this point. And Lindelof, another game where he really made a lot of mistakes, especially in this one. And I think that should be the priority. Not Sancho, but getting a very good center back should be the priority for United.
You done?
Yep.
We do not need Spurs advice. That's number one. Number two, Lindelof has a bad game, but a lot of players have a bad game. He still belongs to the defense that came in third in defense last season. And normally after Lindelof has a bad game, like he does better for a decent stretch, you know, because he knows and he's aware that everybody's not feeling him 100%. So he digs in and he gets in there and he has a good stretch. So I'm not as down on us as everybody else is. Like, I know we need players. I'd still rather get an attacking force in there before we get somebody defensive in there.
I think you have enough offensively. I think you struggle defensively at this moment, you know, where with especially against fast guys. And I think the Brighton game will be actually very difficult for you guys because they have fast guys they can run behind and they'll create problems. Mope and other guys, they'll create you guys some problems, you know. So this will be a very difficult game for you, in my opinion.
All those. I mean, the whole league is problems. But you know, the thing is, you solve them. You know.
That you will play a team that outplayed Chelsea on the first game of the season. So,
I mean, Chelsea's just getting outplayed, period. So that's not even the problem. You know, they got outplayed since they left, since Willian left. So, and they have a Rubik's Cube that they have to figure out.
Yeah, so last season we didn't get outplayed at all.
It was a perfect time for Liverpool to play them. It was a perfect time for Brighton to play them. Let's see what happens later on in the season. As far as us, our game against Southampton, like that game, the weekend we had off hurt us. Crystal Palace. The weekend we had off hurt us. Like, we were not in Premiership gear. Crystal Palace was. They played a game in the Premiership the weekend before, and you could tell that we were not used to, like, playing practice games. But there's nothing like.
City were in the same position and they won.
I know, they handled it better. So City handled it better. We didn't. I don't know. Solskjær in the pregame talk interviews had too much confidence. I didn't like that the day before the match. I was like, this is too much confidence. And some of the stuff that he said was borderline, was like bulletin board material that he said in that press conference before the game, 2 days before the game. Like, if I was Crystal Palace, I would put that on my board and say, this is what he said about us. He sounded too confident, and the team came out as complacent as he sounded in the press conference. But it's a good awakening. Too bad we lost the 3 points. And I watched our League Cup game today, Carabao Cup, and he started Wan-Bissaka. It's like, why did Wan-Bissaka start? Like, the goal that Crystal Palace scored first started on Wan-Bissaka's side of the field. So it's like, why wasn't he in there? Why did Matic play today and why did Greenwood come in at half? Like, why not start the league out on your best foot? Why was Daniel James, who is probably better after a team is worn out from our starting 11, you throw him in with his extra fresh speed to give him an advantage as just a player making the squad in this new era of players that we have. So I don't know why like Solskjær did a bunch of things that he did. I don't know why he played the players he played on Sunday and then played the players he played this week. When like Wan-Bissaka was fine today, Matic was fine today, and Greenwood scored today, so he was fine today during the League Cup game. So I don't know why. You just start your players, bro. Start them.
Here's the last thing, and then I have to go after I say that right away. So, because it came to my mind, and we didn't talk about Liverpool at all. Even if we talked about Chelsea, we didn't talk about the Liverpool side. It takes time to make a team work, and then you add up to what you have. You add up to the skeleton. You add up to the winning formula, and they just added up two new pieces, and with Thiago and Jota, very smart buys, but they already have a complete team that won everything.
Right.
And now they want to try to get Mbappe next year. So people, there's this thing when a team, let's say like Chelsea, buys a lot of players, and everybody's like judging the team by who they just bought. But sometimes the long-term strategy is what you really need. And you don't have to buy a lot of players every summer or every winter. You just have to buy one or two each window and add them to what you already have.
I think you have to buy whatever you need. I mean, the reason why Liverpool don't need to buy that many players is that because they don't need that many.
To gel everything. Like Liverpool, it took a little bit of time.
It will take time, but that doesn't mean. Look at it this way: if even going by the fact that it will take time, and I completely agree, it will take time. Isn't it better to have all your resources at the beginning of that taking your time cycle?
So they can grow together.
They can grow together, right? They can grow. Otherwise, you start and then you falter again, and then you're again playing catch up. So nobody's saying that anything is expected of any of the team that's at the beginning of their cycle right away.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Let's look long term.
All right, peace. All right, peace, Martin. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Martin.
The only flaw I would say in your statement is you still didn't get the goalkeeper, but you did get him. So we'll see.
No, I agree. I mean, this loss for me was on Frank Lampard, that whoever at the club made the call that we can go an entire chance, we can start the first game of the season without fixing the number one hole. I'm okay with Mendy, but Mendy should have been here 3 weeks back.
You're too busy doing other deals.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely on them. And whoever made that call, whether it was a business decision trying to, get the best deal possible, or, whether it was Lampard or Petacek or whoever it was, you had enough time, you knew, and throughout lockdown, this is an issue. There was nothing new that came out of these last few weeks. So, and, Liverpool showed how a champion team plays. You play in, actually Klopp said that in the post-match, that the reason why he got Thiago in after the first 45 minutes was he realized it was an 11-on-10 game. He just went for the kill. He's like, you can absolutely, put your feet on the neck of Chelsea and ram home your advantage if you have somebody, pulling strings. And they just played in 5th, 6th gear throughout the sorry.
Yeah, what's going on over there? You having a stroke?
They just played in 2nd gear throughout the game, and the moment they got that opening, they absolutely went for it. And they professional and cleared out the game. They played like how champions. This is what every other team, our team's trying to play catch up. This is where we want to get to. Where everything works.
2-0 is not bad when you're down a man against the champs. So the thing is about the early games is you just don't want to panic. They indicate that something needs to be fixed, but it doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom like what Martin is trying to say about Man U. We made a mistakes off the field before we even got on the field. So I would not look at our squad. We need to play the players that we had from last year that was successful as a group and win as much as we can with them and have them grow, and then start inserting the new pieces that we have. Van de Beek did good. He scored, and I liked his touches, and I like another thing Solskjær has to do is always get our best players on the field. So no matter who's injured, it's like in the game against Liverpool, you guys had no defensive players. You were out for the first time. Like you know, there's no Matip, there's no Gomez. So you dropped.
Oh, yeah.
You drop. Who did you drop back there? I mean, who did Liverpool drop back there?
Fabinho. And he was great.
And he was great.
Excellent.
Which
he
is
pretty
the
much
same,
took Werner out of the game.
Yeah, which is the same thing that Man City does when they're out of defenders. They drop their Brazilian back there, their midfield, Fernandinho. Yeah. You know, so like we need to like get our best players on the field, especially when we're injured, even if they're players playing out of position. Like, and switch up the formation. Like just having Van de Beek means sometimes you could play 2 forwards. You know what I mean? And have and have 2 defenders in front of the defense and have 2 attacking midfielders. You could push Pogba up sometimes and let him play with Fernandes and Van de Beek or Van de Beek and have Matic and McTominay or Fred back there, like defending and getting the ball to them. We have to just keep our best players on the field, remain versatile, and not stick to one thing and be predictable. So those are the things like I hope Solskjær like realizes as time goes on.
I think in terms of the performances in the versus Crystal Palace for you guys.
What performance? I can't even call that a performance, bro.
No, but it seemed very similar to a few of the games you had last season.
Yeah.
So it's not like you guys are finding, which is in a way good, like you guys aren't discovering new issues. You already know those issues exist. So if I was a Manchester United fan, I would just have to have trust in the manager, in the board, that they are looking at solutions for these issues. And there's like 20 days left, 15 days left, and you're going to get somebody. I do feel you guys need another forward, though.
Yeah, that's what I like Martin and other people, when they suggest that we need a defender first, I feel like they're hating on us. And I feel like they're protecting their own team's interests by telling us to get a defender because they don't want us to get more offensively dangerous. And I would never go for that. It's attacking player first, and then a defender. And then when I say defender, it could be a center back or a left back to back up shore. But it's like I'm not gonna like build our team the way some other fan from another competitor wants us to build our team. Fuck that.
You guys don't have a world-class defense, but you have a serviceable defense. You're not looking to win the league.
You would love to have our defense.
No, I think we have the same issue as you guys do. Like we have bodies there with talent, and it's now about a lack of leadership, which hopefully somebody like Thiago Silva will solve at Chelsea. You guys need to find that leader. There seems to be indication that with Maguire being given the captaincy, that they'll look at him as the leader, and Van Bissaka is good defensively. I think more than your actual back four in terms of defense, who you need is a DM who is higher quality than Matic and Fred and McTominay. I know you guys have a lot of bodies there, but it's becoming such an important position in modern football that I feel you can get somebody who's a higher quality guy. And the good thing is these players are that's one position where the prices haven't really skyrocketed yet.
All right,
so DMs. So holding DM, you may be able to get somebody for cheap, just somebody athletic, and you can, to link up play. There are options there.
Yeah, we need to slide into another team for their DM. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, I'm not that sure about that Dembele guy though, because are you guys looking at getting him on a loan or just buying him?
I don't know. Listen, he's injury prone, but I also know he's not happy at Barcelona.
That's true.
And so that he might like stay off the field because of that. I don't know if he's one of those, I don't want to use the word weird, but one of those different people that when they're not comfortable, they shy away from pressure or whatever, which you don't really want. But when I've seen him play for Barcelona, the
He's
team that
great.
it's like I'd watch him. He's turned me on more than Messi in the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I was telling you that with Hakim Ziyech in and Bale in now at Spurs, United's going to be the only team that doesn't have that threat on that right wing. If you get somebody like Dembele and he actually works,
Right.
you guys have that player then.
Yeah.
The only problem is if you get him on loan, he seems to be the kind of character who needs a lot of, massaging and mollycoddling. Like you actually
That's
have to
what
like
Pogba's
make
there
him.
for.
Yeah, but
Pogba's
my
French,
point is,
he's French.
Yeah, but my point is, do you really want to go to that length for somebody who's just going to be here for the year?
I know. But
So,
maybe because he knows he's there for the year, he's like, I'm going to advertise myself in a Manchester United uniform, play well, and then get a move to another team because other teams are not sure about me right now because of what's been happening with me at Madrid. So if I play good at Man U, maybe Man U will buy me. But if they don't,
yeah, exactly. Have like an option to buy.
Now I'm on sale for the world. The world has seen my talents. I just killed it there. So it's to his advantage to do good, and so we'll see. Trying to see. Let's run through, and then we can hit up some news.
Arsenal. You want to talk about Arsenal?
Arsenal.
I saw a few Arsenal fans saying Willian out. Did I hear that?
And what was their reason? Are you making this up?
No. I actually saw it. Somebody shared it with me. People know what I'm on about. People know my brand. People know my brand. So.
Yeah, they know your brand is Willian out. No matter where he's playing, you're like Willian out. Like he don't play for you no more. Still out.
I heard somebody say, dude, these Chelsea fans weren't joking. This guy ran out of tokens.
What do you mean?
He used up his tokens versus Fulham. I'm telling you, man. Like, but I mean that's fine. This is too early in the season to judge.
It's too early in the season to judge. Like he had a great game in your first game. The thing I liked about Arsenal in this game is last year this was a game that they probably could have lost or end up in a tie.
That's true.
When it was 1-1, I was like, now it's time for the Arteta in these guys to kick in and for them to prove that they've grown. And he made the subs. And he subbed out. He subbed out players that he paid for, but not just Willian too. He took out Lacazette. He took out players that they bought. And put in the youth, and the youth, his substitutions did the thing.
And West Ham actually were defending really well in that period. I didn't think that Arsenal was going to make that breakthrough, but they got that one moment of magic, and. Sometimes when you have that much attacking talent in your team, it's, maybe that's just what you need. You don't need a lot of opportunities sometimes.
It's just that like Arsenal, some games, you only have a moment to show that you're better than a team. Just one split moment. And last year, Arsenal wouldn't have taken that moment or made it. And this game, it's just the second game, but they did it. So they're on this path or on this bridge that I can already see projectively that's built for them to cross. Mm-hmm. And they're on it right now. I don't know why I can see it. Even games last year when Arteta first came in, even when they didn't win right away, I could see the difference. So if I could see the difference when they lost, I can definitely see the difference when they win. And so I will just, as a Man U fan, I'm worried about Arsenal because the amount of substitutes and people that they could just interchange and take out and put back in is just crazy. And they're mostly like kids from the academy.
And there seems to be a good spirit in the camp where, the fact that they now have Aubameyang, there's a lot of uncertainty about that.
Right.
And that's clear now. There's a funny, interesting, they did this whole video with Ian Wright, the legendary Arsenal striker, and Aubameyang talking.
Oh, yeah.
And Ian Wright asks him, so what did Arteta, I mean, it's supposed to be a feel-good interview, right? So he's
Right.
like, what did Arteta ask you, that convinced you, or what did Arteta tell you that convinced you to, sign the extension here? And he says that Arteta told me that, you have offers from other places. You can join any club you want and win trophies, or you can stay here and build a legacy. And the word legacy really connected with me, and that's what I want to do.
Right.
But
Because he's too old to build a legacy somewhere else.
Yeah, but the interesting point was like he said that it's an either or. You can go somewhere else and win trophies, or stay here and build a legacy. I'm
Right,
like, that's probably not the way you want to pitch your own club.
No. I think you're picturing it wrong. I think he's like, shit, I already won 2 trophies here.
Yeah.
And I see this thing. I've seen the improvement since Arteta got here. Now I think Arteta not mentioning trophies was a given, but you don't want to be.
I think he's just talking about the real trophies.
You don't want to be Van Persie.
Titles.
You don't want to be Van Persie where you just win one title at Man United, but you're not. There's no legacy. You want to win something. If you already did 2 years at Arsenal, all you can do is build a legacy and possibly win a title, as opposed to going somewhere else. So I get that.
But the thing is, Aubameyang is at a stage in his career where the clock is kind of ticking. He's never won a league title in his career.
I don't think he. But he can win some trophies.
He can win some trophies, but I would think a player like he is a world-class player.
All right.
We sometimes a lot of times, certain world-class players, what's held against them
what team
is the fact that they.
What team would have bought him? What team had the offers?
I think both Barcelona and Real Madrid have.
I never really heard any Barcelona.
Barcelona, I heard because they're letting go of Suarez.
Right.
There's other striker who they have isn't really a striker, Griezmann. So it's pretty convenient for me to get somebody like Aubameyang, who isn't going to cost a lot because he's, in the last year of his contract. And he'll just require huge wages, which Barcelona loves giving out anyways.
But Barcelona has a financial crunch because their government gave them money to guide them through Corona, and they have to pay back that money before they start buying players. So they have to sell players they have, which they haven't, or the Spanish government say, hey man, you can't be like splurging and you owe us money, nigga. We can see what you bought. You need to give us our money first. So
I think they're bigger than the Spanish government.
They can't buy Aubameyang.
I think they'll figure it out.
So what?
I mean, they will buy somebody because they're buying Memphis Depay.
But they have to sell first. That's
younger.
Yeah, they got to sell first. And if they buy Memphis,
they did let go of Arturo Vidal. They did let go of Vidal and Suarez. I don't know if they got any money out of it because, I don't know, like, did they go on a free transfer or not? But they did really, at least there's substantial wages that are off the book now. Did you see what happened with Suarez?
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to go to Italy. And then before you got on the Zoom, Martin was like, he has beef with members of that team. Yeah,
Chileni, because he bit him.
Yeah. So then I guess it just felt like Suarez didn't want to go. But now he might go to Atletico, which is,
I don't really.
Yeah.
So surprising.
If you look on the BBC thing, I was going to bring it up, like literally for free too.
I don't know what Atletico is doing. Like, they just want to keep buying strikers every summer, and they're not happy with any of them.
I think.
And they keep buying strikers who are just past their peak. Like, they bought Diego Costa, and then they bought Torres first. Then they got Diego Costa. Then they got Morata.
They just loaned Morata back to Juventus.
I think they sold him. Was it a loan? I think it was a sale, right? No, maybe.
I gotta check. Let me see. Keep talking. I'll check.
Yeah. So now, if they go for Suarez, like it's just. I don't think that team has a plan.
It's a loan.
It's a loan. Okay.
Resign Atletico Madrid striker on loan.
Yeah, so I don't think that team has a plan in terms of what they're doing going forward. And yeah, it just seems pretty weird. So I'm sure Aubameyang had options, but the fact that they kept hold of Aubameyang, this is probably, in terms of pound for pound, how much difference one player makes to a team. It's probably the best new thing that has happened in this. It's not a signing, but it's probably the best new thing that has happened in this entire league for a single club.
Well, speaking of signings, the fact that we still have Pogba is a re-signing. You know what I mean?
That's true.
If you want to talk about scenarios like that, like Pogba is definitely staying, as opposed to, all right, last year he was going to leave. Then it came to the point like, all right, he'll definitely just stay for this year. Now it's like nobody's talking about selling or buying Pogba. Like it's a foregone conclusion, conclusion that he's there. So that's a huge thing. Even though he has to play better. He has to play better. But I think we should move Pogba. Like, listen, like Mark was talking about, you were talking about a DM. Like, I think we have somebody. Like, I think McTominay, if you tell him you're the DM, he would play like a DM. But when he's there, I don't think he's being told how to play. You know what I mean? Like, we have to settle. I say we play 2 in front of the back 4, push Pogba up, and sometimes play 3 forwards or 2 forwards. Like,
so then where's Fernandes going to play? Bruno Fernandes?
Next to Pogba, when we play 2 forwards, when we play 3 forwards, he's still in the same position. When we play 2 forwards, Pogba's next to him, 2 guys up behind them, and the 4 defenders.
So you're saying, like, in a 3 midfield, you're going to have 2 DMs behind?
I say sometimes we play 4-2-2-2. And sometimes,
because you don't want, but then you're going to be losing out on the width because you don't have anybody on the wings then, which gives a lot of tasks to your fullbacks. And Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw used to be really good going forward, but he's getting a little slow now.
No, he's good going forward. That's the problem. He's good going forward. This was just his first game back. Everybody was off this game, but you miss him when he's not in the game going forward.
I think you guys really need width because I don't think even Wan-Bissaka's strength is in going forward.
No, it's not.
But
how much do we need width when we have 2 guys that can pick the lock of a central defense, which we don't have now? Like, Pogba comes up optionally, and he's back. I just want to add more, and the guys will spread out when those guys are. If Pogba and Bruno are behind you and your 2 forwards, you will spread out and interchange, and those guys will slip forward even more and make it a front 3. They'll make it back the 3-1.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You can still have that width, and you can still have Pogba and Bruno, and have one DM. If that's a really high quality DM, you want to have. You'll have to have 2 if you. If you have somebody off, maybe McTominay can develop into that guy. I'm not denying that because he's still young, and he's got some miles to go before that can happen. But as things stand right now, if you have somebody like Fabinho, or like somebody like an NDD, who can absolutely dominate that part of the pitch, then you don't need to have another guy back there, and you can just let Pogba. Pogba is actually not that bad defensively, so he can do that box-to-box role and help out at times defensively, but also has the luxury to go up when the team has the ball.
He needs to be freed some more, because if he's not, then the fans will never appreciate him as a holding midfielder, like he's back there helping out. We have 2 in the back now, and he'll never be appreciated. He'll never be able to fulfill and do the amount. Like, he did great with France that way, but
he plays with Kante.
It's a limited amount of games, and he plays with Kante. So the sample size.
No, that's what I'm saying. You need somebody of the level of a Kante, and then Pogba doesn't have to, babysit that part of the pitch that much.
We should just get Kante then. Hold on a second.
Rumors.
I got to turn on the light because we started late.
No. Yeah. So, yeah, get somebody like, I mean, it's tough right now since it's so late in the window. But I'm sure there are people out there like Thomas Partey, Babakar Sumare. Like Arsenal's been looking at these guys, and Chelsea has been looking for. Actually, I think you guys are looking at Declan Rice because
we're looking at
Chelsea's been.
No, fuck that. I can't wait for you guys to buy Declan Rice and find out.
So Chelsea's been really looking for Declan Rice, but this week I've been hearing that it's getting a little weird because both Manchester City and Man United are also looking at him. So,
what do you think of Declan Rice?
I think in terms of somebody who can play that holding, because we don't have a natural holding DM in our squad. That's why we end up having to. Yeah, we don't have somebody. We have Kante, who's a DM, but Kante, whenever he's had his best moment, he's more of like the shuttling DM kind of guy, ball winner who keeps moving up and down, like a sitting DM who, like a Casemiro kind of guy who will not move and just wipe up everything there. We don't have that kind of player. The closest we have to somebody like him is Jorginho, and Jorginho is not athletic enough, which is why you keep seeing him getting overrun by Robertson last game. And there's this beautiful clip of him getting overrun by the referee once. So that's the problem we have. So that's why I understand why. And look, if we get Declan Rice, it's probably going to cost money, and it's going to create a lot of talk because he's not going to be playing every game, because we don't want that guy to be playing every game. We'll need him against certain opposition where we want to play a little more defensively. So we want to play Kante and Rice. But at this point, I don't even care if it's Rice or not. I just feel we need somebody with that profile. Right. I think Rice is good in the sense that he does those things, and he also has a passing range. And the fact that he's been playing at West Ham these 3 years, he's kind of developed into that, because that team is so shit. He's kind of had to develop that kind of leadership at the behind, which I think a team like ours can use. And we'll see. I'm not that obsessed at getting him, because the price West Ham want, 80 million, is crazy. But if we can get him for say below 50 million, I'll not be,
Declan Rice will never be worth 80 million. And if I'm wrong, I'll accept it. He's overrated from what I see. He's young. He could grow into somebody that's worth that, but I just don't see it.
He has the physical attributes, though, and he has
the
technical.
So does Eric Dyer. Go buy him. Like, it's like,
yeah, but Eric Dyer, we've already seen the ceiling of Eric Dyer. We've already seen what's there to be seen about Eric Dyer.
I think if you look at Eric Dyer, you'll see the ceiling of Declan Rice. But all right, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, with these young guys, there's always that's why it's tough to digest the fact that we have to pay so much for him. This guy used to be in our academy till the age of, we released him at the age of 15.
Right.
He is Chelsea through and through, born, bred, his entire family is Chelsea. So it sucks that we, have to go out in the market to buy somebody like him, but, you win some, you lose some.
Well, I just want to run through the other teams, because we started late and it's getting dark, and we got to post this thing. So I just want to talk real quick. Everton, West Brom. Everton went out there. Ancelotti's doing his thing. Their 3 buys that they bought or, just are paying off. James Rodriguez, he's doing his thing. He scored. Calvin Lewis is being coached up by Ancelotti and doing his thing. Richarlison is pitching in and doing his thing too, which it did. And Calvin Lewin and Richarlison are not buys, but they have definitely stepped up their game because they realize the caliber of the coach that's telling them the things to do. And they're like, when am I going to ever get a chance to be coached by somebody this good with the pedigree and the rings and things? So they have definitely stepped up. So Everton, West Brom,
all those
and the
players,
coach.
all those players that you just rattled off, like
Uh-huh.
it's an amazing Everton team right now.
Yeah.
It kind of, I was kind of thinking like, what's Ancelotti going to do? Because we know Everton's been making some stupid decisions in the transfer market of late, but he seems to have the profile of a team that can work for a Carlo Ancelotti team. And I think a lot of the clubs ahead of them would also be looking at, hey, why didn't we look at these players?
Like Alan. I guess they didn't know about Alan because Ancelotti knew about him from Napoli. Decore they should have known about.
Yeah.
And everybody had their shot at James Rodriguez, and for some reason they want to pull the trigger. But Ancelotti's everybody's like believing what they see, including Ancelotti, and he's like, I can believe what I see because I coached him before. Yeah. So I'm going to believe what I see and bring him in. And other people are like, I'm just going to believe what I hear about him or seen of his career in the last few years. If Bayern didn't start him, it's funny. Like they're like, if Bayern didn't start him and Real Madrid didn't start him and they're not going to sign him, why would I? Well, number one, those two teams have won the Champions League the last 4 years in a row. They're levels above you guys. So any player they discard will start on your team. So you're dumb for not thinking that just because these players can't make, because Coutinho can't start for Bayern and can't start for Barca, and James can't start for Real Madrid and can't start for Bayern. It doesn't mean he can't start for your club and make an improvement to it. Those clubs are above you anyway. So good. Congratulations for James. How much did he cost them? I can't even remember.
James was free.
Free James. Who don't want some free James?
Yeah, the fact that he was free and nobody looked at him was kind of weird. But
I get why we didn't get him, but
I think it's always going to be held against a player who's not had a starting position for so long. Like both Coutinho and James people are going to be a little skeptical but the fact that you're literally not paying anything for this gamble.
Yeah, exactly. A free gamble. You ever heard of a free gamble? You always take a free gamble. Yeah. Leeds. And then
that was an exciting game.
I just want to say the West Brom coach got sent off. I think the referee is a little too trigger happy. And I saw the interaction halftime between the coach and the ref. And it's like, he was frustrated, but he didn't curse. He just wanted to know. It's just like, he just said, why don't you look at the tape? And then you're like, you're asking me questions? Goodbye. So sorry, West Brom. Leeds and Fulham. Leeds only
I just want to say one small thing about West Brom. I'm looking forward to watching West Brom this season because they got the bear back. Branislav Ivanovic is back in the Premier League.
Who?
Branislav Ivanovic.
The coach?
No, Ivanovic, Chelsea right back.
Oh, he's back? He's with West Brom?
He's back in West Brom, baby. He's he's 35, 36 now. But apparently they had a good game versus in the League Cup today. They lost on penalties. But and they have this young Chelsea Academy kid on loan too. So it's going to be an interesting...
What's his name?
Conor Gallagher. Midfielder. But
Liverpool had an American player on their bench.
I think I know.
Some Stevens.
Yeah, he's not one of the most high profile of their young guys, but let's see.
Yeah. I mean, they know the game is being broadcast to America. Put him on the bench. Yeah, why not? Smart.
America, I think we need to discuss this in some future episode. The American team right now is looking hot.
Yeah, I know, because McKenna just played. Can you believe that? Is it Weston McKenna or McKenzie?
Weston McKenna, Juventus.
Just left a German team and went to Juventus, and you have a dream day. You're on the field Pirlo's coaching you. You're passing the ball to goddamn Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
And you're on Juventus, and there's ex-players from PSG playing behind you, and there's Chiellini and some two of the greatest defenders of all time. You're on Juventus, and you win 3-0, and you almost score a goal, and you're like, that is an American kid. He's like 20, maybe if he is that much. And that's goddamn amazing.
Gio Reyna scored over the weekend.
Yeah, I saw Gio. I watched the Juventus game, and he got a pass from Jude Bellingham. Passed him the ball. So it was like 2 17-year-olds, 1 assist and 1 goal scoring. So that's pretty amazing. But just go back to Leeds. Leeds only 4-3 again. This time they're on the 4-part side of the 3. They play 4-3 games in the Premiership, and so next week it's going to be Leeds versus 4-3. They're going to be Leeds and whoever they play 4-3, but we just don't know who the 4 is going to be for and the 3 is going to be for. But Bielsa, they came in, they did their thing. Scott Parker made some adjustments when they went down 4-1. It was embarrassing, and they fought back and the subs he put in, so they showed some fight. At least Fulham, they didn't go out like that, but they lost.
Leeds I think every team is going to have a fun Leeds game this season.
Fun Leeds game.
It's just so weird though, because my memory of watching Leeds in the Premier League were these bunch of, this team that plays so physical. In they'll do anything to like get a point out of you. And now it seems like they're playing this magical Argentinian tiki-taka Bielsa style, and they're actually doing things with the ball rather than kicking you in the shins. So it's a great comeback story, the Premier League.
Yeah. You want to know a fun fact about Leeds? First of all, Costa is amazing. He had an assist last week, and he scored a Salah-like goal. Salah's first goal from last week, not first goal from last week, but the one that wasn't a penalty, the one that he put in the up roof, triangular, corner of the net. Costa scored one just like that, and he almost ripped the back of the top of the triangle of the net out. But there's the player on Leeds. Is it Harrison?
Leeds scored a goal?
He scored last week. Jake Harrison, I think. He scored last week, right? Here's his story. His name is Jack Harrison. So he was born in England, right? Yeah. When he was 5-6 years old, he made the Man U Academy. So he was on the team with Rashford and all those guys, right? Yeah. Then his mom's like, we moving to America. So the motherfucker moves to America. So he's in New Jersey, and he's off. He's like, so then.
Is this the guy who came from New York City?
Yes.
NYCFC?
Yeah, so then he ends up playing on some prep school team, and then he plays 1 year in college, and then he goes to NYC. What's the Man City's New York soccer team?
NYCFC, yeah.
And then he goes back to Leeds, and then ends up back in the same league with Rashford and all the people he was on the.
That's so crazy.
Now he's going to be playing. So it's a crazy journey, but he,
that's so crazy.
It's hard to like make a. Yeah, so that's his journey. Jack Harrison.
That's a crazy journey. We have an ex. Yeah.
So what?
No, I was saying that we have like one of the other goal scorers, Patrick Bamford. He spent some time at the Chelsea academy too.
Yeah, he's from you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, he is again like I think around that whole. He was between the Loftus-Cheek and the Tammy Abraham generation.
Oh, it's a good generation because he scored this weekend and the weekend before, and he looks like he's tall. He looks like he belongs there, and you guys should have bought him because you paying for Havertz, who I think will have a great future at
No,
Chelsea.
I don't think these two are comparable.
Well, there's some, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just talking about Bamford right now.
There's a long list of tiers of lost Chelsea talents before we get to Mr. Patrick Bamford.
We'll see.
Yeah,
He's in the Premier League. He's in the Premier League now, and he's scoring.
Hey, Tariq Lamptey. He'd probably be the guy who would make me cry right now.
Well, that's who I want to go to next. Like Newcastle, Brighton versus Newcastle versus Lamptey, because that's all this match was. It was all Lamptey. He was the Chelsea player of the match last weekend, and he was the player of the match this weekend. I've never seen somebody make what's his name? His name was in my head, but now I just forgot. Newcastle. Make Saint Maximum usually terrorizes people and causes them trouble, and you have to figure out how to stop him. I've never seen. Now the shoes on the other foot, he has to figure out how to. He's like, how the fuck is this right back giving me all this trouble? I got to deal with was it right? Yeah, I got to deal with this right back.
Right
I'm normally
wing back,
giving right backs. Yeah, I'm normally giving these right wing backs hell. Now I got to deal with him. So he ends up fouling him.
He's
electric, bro. Yeah, he's fast, and he's confident, and he's doing his thing, man. So, he's the excitement that Brighton's coach wanted to bring to the team is actually there through one guy. And Brighton played a pretty offensive team too. All those guys that I think Martin mentioned earlier, in the Mopé and Conley and they were all they started this match. And Trossard is really fucking good.
Trossard,
I would watch Trossard. I'd watch out for Trossard.
Yeah.
So that's Brighton. Who else? Burnley. Leicester just came in and just did their thing to Burnley. They bossed them. And Barnes so far this year, he's faster than every fucking body, and he's essential to everything that happened in front of that Burnley goal that Leicester did. And of course, Vardy did his thing, but that goddamn Barnes, man, watch out for Harvey Barnes. It was slow for me to warm to him. I felt like he was being overrated, but I'm seeing it now, and this motherfucker is fire. So, and you know how hard it is to put out fire.
I think it was. I was really curious to see how Leicester's going to begin this season, because after what happened last season, it can be really demoralizing on a team. And Vardy's 1 year older now. That's not if your best player is at that age and he's getting older every season. How are you going to manage to find? But they seem like the first 2 games, they're doing other things apart from just hoofing the ball to Jamie Vardy. It's Brendan Rodgers is finding other solutions. Yeah,
and that back that replaces, was it Creswell or Chiswell? Because I get Creswell and Chilwell mixed up.
Yeah, Chilwell.
But Justin, he scored. He's a brand new back. So Leicester, man, they showed their thing. And then I guess the 2 other games we didn't talk about was Villa versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United ends up with a red card from a stand-up grappling match between your player was being held, but you sure was holding a lot for somebody that's defending, and that's preventing somebody from a goal scoring opportunity, and that's a red card. And
I thought Sheffield played really well, though. I thought they deserved at least a point out of that game, because they defended the hell out of it. They just don't have any clue what to do in attack. It felt like the moment they crossed the halfway line, they go a little. It's just they don't know what the next pass is going to be.
Right.
It just felt very disjointed.
Right, and especially when you get a red card and you take off the forward to replace him with a defender, and you're talking about a team that doesn't know what to do when they cross the halfway line, then they've effectively shut down any chance they have. And then they actually had the opportunity to score first. They got a penalty. and referees have to really step up on these penalty calls. Like, there's a lot of people getting penalties for drawing contact. And it's safe for a referee to see contact and call a penalty. But there is a difference between drawing contact and a real penalty. And that is not being distinguished right now. VAR had a good week. I would give it that, except if you want to count that in a Man U game. There were 2 handballs this weekend that was suspect. Because they're like, as soon as a ball touches a player's hand in the penalty area, if that player is a defender, it's a penalty. If I'm a goddamn forward, if I can't draw contact, I'll just kick the ball to your hands. If I see your hands away from your body, because players can hit anywhere on the post with a ball. Like, they've been practicing, like, there's obstacles sometimes. They'll have like circles and squares on a goal. Yeah. And even if you get the ball in the net, that doesn't count. It's if you hit one of those targets. So, like, I'm like, why am I not going in the game? Oh, so we're giving up penalties if the ball touches your hand? All right, I'm just kicking the ball on defenders' hands.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to turn into if you don't distinguish what a real handball is.
They've completely messed it up.
Yeah, they have.
What they needed to do was improve the actual, judgment on the existing laws. What they've done now is, first of all, you don't open 2 can of worms at the same time. Okay, so they introduced in the Premier League, you don't open 2 can of worms at the same time. They went ahead and introduced VAR right at the same time as they introduced the new handball laws. First of all, nobody's used to VAR in this league, and everybody's freaking out on how VAR is dealing with it. And now people have to adjust. Like, these are players who grew up their entire life, defenders who grew up their entire life, learning a profession, learning a trade with a certain way to deal with their arms. And now suddenly they're in their mid-20s and they have to completely rewind and unlearn certain things. And, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's not ideal either. So
they're like, birds, we're going to need you birds to fly without your wings.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, good luck.
Yeah, just deal with it. And if you don't, we're going to kill you.
You use your hands. We use your hands for balance when you're running. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want people to play without toes? Toes are out. How the fuck are we going to stand up? We don't care. Toes are out.
There were so many handballs, legitimate penalties that were not being given as penalties previously. All you had to do was use VAR to make sure that those penalties were given. You didn't need to completely, reinvent the wheel and introduce a whole bunch of new handball laws, where it kind of seems like there's so many of these borderline accidental handballs that are given now as penalties. And this is just not us saying it. Professional football players are saying it. Pundits are saying it. People who've played the game, who've been in those positions when the ball is like in that, less than 1 meter range to you, they're saying it. So it just seems
messed up.
It seems very messed up, and I don't see it improving at any point. And even these laws, right? Like, they have the international body, which is different from FIFA. They have this body that makes the laws, and then they have FIFA that gives guidance on these laws, and then Premier League has their own guidance for referees on how to deal with certain decisions on these laws, on these calls. So interpretation wise, when you go from a Premier League game to a Champions League game, you'll see completely different ways those referees are dealing with this, because UEFA and Premier League FA deal with them differently. So I don't even know what's a handball right now. This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's on a play-by-play basis, basically, and a league by league and a referee by referee. Because if you take a referee from the Premier League into the Champions League, how does he call handball now? Because does the Champions League handball rules different from the Premier League? And for all the like La Liga referees, and then if you're refereeing a game in the League Cup, or if you're refereeing a game in the Europa League, like what the fuck is going on? And then the Euros are next year. What are the handball rules? You know, it's like, let's just get everything uniform. Let's just agree we made a mistake, peel some of those rules back, keep the ones that work, and keep it moving. And then Wolves versus Man City. Man City did what they did. I feel like the games that Man City lost to Wolves last year, they easily could have won, but they lost them because Man City plays how they play and Wolves plays how they play. And they both have contingency plans for each other, but you have good quality players on both sides. And if those players execute, then there's going to be goals, and the one who ends up with the most amount of goals is going to be the winner. And then this time City handled their business and they got the goals. But there were moments when Wolves were coming back. Traore looked dangerous coming down the wing in the second half. They activated him more, and he got those crosses in. And Podence, I liked Podence from the moment I laid eyes on him. And that motherfucker is going to be a beast, and everybody's going to be like, who the fuck is this Podence? Now, when I say I laid my eyes on him, it was just like the end of last season, the restart. Yeah. I was like, who the hell is this guy? And he is the first game to this game, you know, this guy. And now Wolves are getting Semedo from Barcelona. They're adding another Portuguese guy. And Semedo is the truth. This team, they lost. Yeah, I'm speechless right now. What Wolves are doing?
But I was looking at one of the things that really surprised me in this entire transfer market has been that nobody really went in seriously on Adama Traore.
Nobody what?
Nobody went seriously in for Traore. I think that's some.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, because we could have looked at him.
You can still look at him.
Yeah, we could still look at him.
We're talking about having this right winger guy.
Yeah,
he's gonna cost money, but he's not gonna cost Sancho money. He's already proven,
and he's young. He's played in the Premiership. We know he's dangerous.
You know exactly what you're getting with him.
Yeah.
And he's got the pace which will hurt anybody. There's not a single fullback in the world who's not bothered by Adama Traore pace.
And he will defend. And he makes I saw one of the goals that he scored last season against Man City.
Yeah.
Or he assisted on. And he shoved Mendy, who's huge, and a block of black ice off the ball. And I remember him doing the same thing to what's the Man U backup center back that we don't use anymore?
Bailly?
Not Maguire. Jones.
Oh, Jones.
Phil Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Jones.
I remember that.
Which, listen, it was an unfortunate goal, but it actually helped us not use Phil Jones anymore, which worked out more to our advantage for the rest of the season. So it was a good bad play. So, yeah, we should have went after him. We should still go after him. Put
in a 60 million bid.
Yeah, put in a 60 million, put in a 50, let them get it up to 60, and let's get this guy. What is he, 23, 24?
Yeah, he's 23, 24. And the good thing about Adama Traore is he's been in the pits. He's gone through every hardship possible. This dude is playing for Middlesbrough, and nobody wanted to touch him. He was. I remember when Antonio Conte was our. He was from Barcelona, from the. I think probably came from the academy.
From La Masia.
Yeah, La Masia.
Yeah, from the academy.
And then he went to all these.
Went to Birmingham.
Got shopped around. Middlesbrough. And we were linked to him when Conte was our manager. And even I was like, no, I don't want this guy. Because, I mean, he was not somebody anybody would want at that point. But the way he's transformed himself, he always had the pace. But he didn't have any end product. Now, in the last couple of seasons, he's added the end product. And he's bulked up in a way that has not affected his pace.
And he's bulked up. And not only is he added end product, he's added dimensions to his game where he can defend too. And he's not bitching about defending. You know, he's like, oh, this is a part of the team. This is what we do. I'm a part of this team. I'll do it. So, hey, man.
I think if you guys
Perfect buy for any team.
I think if you guys
Especially
bid 50 million, they're not going to sell you. I think you'll have to go up to something around 80 million. But I would still say get it, because this guy's a 2-in-1. He's just going to give you such a different...
He's worth more now.
Yeah.
Because Sancho's not going to defend like this.
No, Sancho's not going to.
And I trust his skill more than Sancho's skill, to be honest.
Yeah, because you've seen the full cycle of this guy's skill. Sancho's still, even though I rate Sancho a lot. But
I rate Sancho, but it's like, why not Traore? I'm with you on this one.
I think Wolves are not going to be easy to deal with, though. It's going to be a really tough negotiation, but Manchester United have the money if they want it.
We set a precedent by not paying for Sancho, so we could get this deal.
Yeah.
So.
And the fans are going to be happy.
Yeah, the fans will be happy.
The fans are bitching right now.
Well, yeah, the fans are bitching, and they're stuck on this Sancho thing. But as once somebody comes in and does the job, they'll get over it.
Yeah.
Because the fans want what they want, but it's too blind love sometimes. It's like we gotta let's just
get obsessed sometimes. I do that.
We're definitely obsessed. I'm just gonna try to not drag this out much longer. We're having a great time, but I just want to go to see who's playing who next week and get.
I think the big game is Liverpool-Arsenal. Liverpool-Arsenal.
Yeah, Liverpool. Who do you think is going to win that?
I mean, the same thing I thought last game, like Liverpool, unless things go... They'll have to play really badly to not win. That stands for any game. Liverpool, I don't think they've played particularly well these two games, but they seem to always know what to do enough to get past teams. And now they have Thiago, who's played, one half of football. He's probably going to play this midweek game in the Carabao Cup. And he'll be fit to that. The only kind of weakness I always thought Liverpool had was they had a workhorse midfield. They didn't have any creativity in their midfield. But now with Thiago in there, you're not losing out anything on defensive acumen because he still has that. But he's so good, with his passing and opening up little pockets of space. So I really don't see how Invi's going to take the title off them this season.
I worry about him defending at that age in this league more than passing.
Yeah,
it's the same reason you guys got rid of David Luiz, even though he just won 2 things with Arsenal. But it's the same reason I do worry about David Luiz.
But David Luiz always has an error in him. I don't think Thiago has a error. Like he has a mistake in him at all times. So you're always like 45 minutes away from a David Luiz mistake. So I don't think that's true for Thiago. And he has Fabinho next to him. So it's not like he's left there alone to do stuff. And they'll have help like Jordan Henderson, Kepa, and Gini Wijnaldum, whichever guy plays as a third midfielder. So I think they'll be fine defensively. I think the real issues defensively are the fact that it doesn't seem to be the strongest start to the season for the original back four. Van Dijk, Robertson, they've made a few mistakes.
Yeah, and I wonder who's going to be injured next week when that game plays too.
I don't know if Gomez is a serious injury though. I think he's going to be back, and then Fabinho is going to go back to his defensive position in the midfield. I'm not sure.
Keep looking at fixtures, and it keeps giving me Arsenal fixtures. I want everybody's fixtures. What's going on here? Leicester is playing Man City. That's a big game. If Man City should be able to win that. Let's see who else. What other game is big? Liverpool, Arsenal, we already talked about that. Let's see. Crystal Palace, Everton, Tottenham, Newcastle. Newcastle could win that, but I'll give it to Tottenham for now. But Newcastle could definitely throw a monkey wrench in that.
Yeah.
For sure. Man United, we have Brighton Hove. We have to win it. Brighton Hove can win, but we have to win. Like, it's just the fans just can't. You just can't take it.
It's going to get real toxic if you guys lose again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the same for us too. If we drop points, even dropping points, like even if any of our teams drop points, it's going to get real toxic among the fan base.
Yeah. If we tie, motherfuckers is going to commit suicide out front of Old Trafford. They're going to set themselves on fire like they're Buddhist monks. So we can't. We need to win.
I think the City Leicester game is going to be good too.
Yes, City Leicester game is going to be good.
Because it seems like Laporte is injured, right? So they're playing John Stones and Nathan Ake. It'll be fun to see if the Leicester forwards can actually hurt them.
I wonder if
I think they can be hurt.
Right. They played. You know what they did? They put two in front of the back four.
Mm-hmm.
And so they played Rodrigo, and is it Fernandinho?
Yeah, Fernandinho.
Is that?
Yeah.
So they played the two, and then they put De Bruyne in front of him, and so they that's what he knows. Pep knows those guys. Well, specifically Stones makes mistakes, so he's like, I'm gonna help you guys at the back. So he'll probably do that again, especially knowing how fast Vardy is, how sharp Vardy is, how fast Barnes is. Like they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to worry about. They're in the same situation they were in this weekend with there's just these fast guys or sharp guys that can hurt you in a moment. So he's aware of that. Chelsea, you got West Bromwich Albion. So how much do you think you're going to lose to West Brom by? Like, what you got?
I mean, we have to win. There's no two ways about it. What'll be interesting to see is if any of these new guys, if any of the injuries or the guys who haven't come in, there's a good chance that Thiago Silva is going to make his debut tomorrow in the League Cup. Mm-hmm. So he may play, if he gets some minutes tomorrow, maybe off the bench, he may play against West Brom. Chilwell will probably be playing. And Ziyech and Pulisic are still, we don't know if they're going to be fit. So,
yeah, when you get Pulisic back, it's going to be on. Like that energy, the way he's going to come at things.
And the biggest thing, Edouard Mendy, he's going to be the biggest signing of the summer, because no team in Europe has upgraded a position as much as you can upgrade from having the worst player in that position in the entire Europe.
We'll see. He has to prove it.
He doesn't have to do a lot. So that's the beauty of Edouard Mendy. Like, this is the best deal you can get as a player. You get to play for a club at the top of one of the best leagues in the world. You get to live in London. You get to play Champions League football. You're gonna be paid.
Can he play?
You're gonna be paid decent enough. All you have to do is be average. All he has to do is be average, and he'll be a fan favorite.
That it sounds funny, but he's gonna have to be more. It sounds cool, but he's gonna have to be more than average, because if he has an average day against a team that you should beat, fans are going to be pissed. And they're going to say, well,
that's
Kepa
fine.
Wasn't that bad.
My standard for being average again on a particular day is just have 5 of those days throughout the season instead of having 20 of those days. Or maybe just have 10. Don't have 20 of those days.
What if he has all 5 of them in a row?
That's
what
fine.
What if he tries to get them out the way? But it's not fine because you guys will never give him a chance. You'll be like, oh, this is a failure.
No. Nobody's going back to Kepa. That's what I'm saying. This is so beautiful for him. He knows the bar is set so low. Because no Chelsea fan has ever seen him play. I haven't seen him play. I don't know how he plays. I just looked at his stats. I've seen a few video compilations, and he's tall and he dives, which is already a massive upgrade. Just by knowing these two things is a massive upgrade to Kepa. But the bar is so low. I haven't seen something like this. So, I mean, of course, best case scenario. So you say you're gonna lose 2-0 to West Brom. That's what you're saying. That's the original question. All right, that's cool. That's fair. Let's see, 4-0.
4-0. All right. Cool. Well, we got to bounce. It's getting dark.
All right.
It's late. You got any parting words?
No. As it's getting a lot more congested with the games now. I think we'll really start seeing the impact this short, kind of a packed season is going to have starting this week. And I won't be surprised if a few clubs come out after a week thinking, you know what, the plans we had for the transfer window, maybe we need to get a little more cover, because what we saw last week wasn't, we kind of feel that we need more.
It's crazy because Spurs, they didn't play. They were supposed to play a league game today, so they played this.
We didn't even go into that.
We didn't even go into that. So then, thank God.
Yeah.
Like in a bad, good way. Like some of the Orient players tested positive for COVID, so that Spurs doesn't have to play today because they have to play again on Thursday. Then they have to play again on. So in a weird way, COVID actually worked out. Well, it's fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the fact that some people had COVID works out to Spurs' advantage this week. That'll be 4 games this week.
But this is my point, though. I think we're going to see some Premier League cancellations starting next week.
Yeah.
Because today, 4 West Ham United players tested positive,
and more,
including their manager. Yeah, exactly. And they still went ahead with the game. So I don't understand, if these guys were training with them since till yesterday and they tested positive today, how could the rest of the team just carry on playing without, going into some sort of quarantine protocol?
I don't like how the teams have relaxed their COVID rules. Like at Project Startup, people weren't hugging. Now people are picking other members of other team members up. People are sitting next to each other with their legs across the other. People are spitting. Like, it's like, go back to the rules, y'all. It worked. Like, there's a spike in England now. And they've reinstated new rules. Now there's going to be no fans for any games this year or maybe till March. So everybody, just do what you did in Project Startup, or else there's going to be games canceled. You're right.
And this is going to be because all these teams are connected, right? Yeah. So I think
our producer Aaron Brungardt. Want to thank Neil Chakravarty for coming through after the loss. I came through after the loss, even though we did win today in the League Cup. So I get to
against the mighty Luton. Ian probably went off. I think he.
Yeah, I'm back. So thanks for coming through, and everybody check out the podcast, like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, and I'm sure I'm missing some stuff out, but it is what it is. Be safe, love each other, and that's all we gotta do, love each other, because these politicians ain't helping us or encouraging us to do that. So let's do it ourselves. All right, 1.